Hi, this is Charles Kelly. How you doing today? Well, we're living in very uncertain times these days, right? We all know that uh, the economy is difficult. America is printing billions of dollars. So in these uncertain times, I think we need to know that if we're choosing an occupation or we're changing occupation, that job is going to be around for the next few years, and it will give you a long-term secure future. And I know that you can't say that every job is going to be secure for life like we had in the past. We had jobs for life, but at least you could choose an occupation where you're likely to get a job that is in demand, if you know what I mean. Now in the UK, the Home Office here produces a UK shortage occupations list. Now this is mainly for migrants coming in who wants and that the country wants to attract, but obviously it gives an indication of where we are with the job market, because clearly we wouldn't be putting a job on that list if there wasn't a big demand for it. And the government also wants skilled people. They don't want low skilled migrants who, first of all, don't pay very much tax, they don't earn very much money, and they're more likely to be in need of state help or benefits. So they produce this list, which has a whole raft of jobs on there. Now, we all know about nurses, right? We know that nurses are always in short demand. And, if you want a job where you'll never run out of work, then nursing is a good one, because I don't think they can get a computer to do all of those tasks that a nurse will do. But there are other jobs on there as well, such as healthcare managers, residential healthcare managers. This is care homes. Domiciliary care managers. This is care in the home. Various scientific jobs, obviously highly skilled physicists, scientists. They're every country is looking for those type of people, but also various engineering jobs, and I'll come on to engineering in a little while, and web development professionals, right? So people who are not just can build a quick website, but people who can really develop more highly skilled type of websites and applications. Obviously nurses, but also senior care workers as well. That's a recent addition to that. And in my past life, I was recruiting nurses and care workers from all over the world, but particularly in India and the Philippines. And then they stopped that many years ago, about 10 years ago now, but they're still in big demand. And obviously with Brexit taking place, we've seen that there won't be so many workers on demand, on tap from Eastern Europe. So they're looking to the wider world now. And so that's happening now. So I'll put a link up later on. You can have a look at my page on that to see more information about that. Now the official shortage list is only the tip of the iceberg, really, in terms of the jobs that are needed and the huge labour shortages across the UK and in America. Apparently there are 8 million job vacancies in America. But that's partly due to the fact that a lot of people are given money to stay at home at the moment under this sort of job furlough type of scheme. But the government are giving a lot of money to people to stay at home. We get it here as well. There are people on benefits, but it's not very much money. But there are jobs. Now, according to a site called Luminate, there's a whole range of jobs that are needed here. Architectural and engineering services. A lot of the building industry needs skilled workers to get into this infrastructure building program. Computer programming, consultancy, education, employment and HR, human resources, financial services, even human health activities, legal and accounting services, office administration, business activities, public administration, and defence, residential care activities, retail trade, social work. Now the retail trade is just getting back up and running again, but there's always signs for vacancies in restaurants and bars looking for staff, and I'm sure there always will be. Those tend to be lower paid jobs, but at least there are vacancies there. However, these lists do not take into account, they've left a glaring error, I think, in terms of certainly the current and future job market, and that is green jobs. Green jobs, in order to meet the climate change and the zero carbon emissions that most countries have signed up to, the industry will need hundreds of thousands, if not millions of workers to build the new technology that will reduce our carbon down in the future and help with the planet. And these are commonly sort of called green jobs. It doesn't mean they're gardening jobs. It means that they're creating the technology such as wind power and hydrogen power and all sorts of things, really, to reduce our dependency on things like oil and coal and natural gas that we have also in the UK. Now, to this effect, there are boilers that will need replacing. I've covered this in a previous article. Now, we call them boilers here. Some people call them water heaters or furnaces. And at the moment, the vast majority of boilers in the UK are powered by natural gas. And this works quite well. It's not that expensive to run. And, it's worked well over the past, 100 years, I guess, these kind of boilers that burn gas. And that's fine, but we want to phase those out. And one alternative is a heat pump or electrically powered type of boiler, and the other is a hydrogen powered type of boiler. Now, these boilers, apparently, I was reading about this, and apparently there are 23 million of these boilers that will need replacing over the next 10 years. Now, how are we going to get 23 million boilers when already there is a shortage of 100,000 workers in the gas and boiler industry? Now, those workers will need to be retrained to install new boilers, but they're going to need at least 100,000 more of these workers to just keep up with demand. Now, we're not saying all of these boilers will be replaced in the next couple of years. No, it's just not possible. But there's also manufacturing of these boilers. There's also, the transportation, the delivery, the installation, the servicing of those jobs. Now, my view is that, if you want a job that will never go out of fashion, then being in that type of industry, we're dealing with boilers, engineering, in fact, they're usually called heating and plumbing engineers, then I don't think you'll ever run out of work. In fact, plumbers here earn a lot of money. People who can actually do things, build things, that's the type of things that, would be very difficult to replace by a machine. And, these will create a huge number of skilled jobs. Now, I'm not saying everybody wants to be a plumber or a heating engineer, but you've got to look and think outside the box a bit to think about the jobs that will be around for a long time and will be there to earn a good living. Maybe you won't become a billionaire, but you can still make a good living. However, there's a guy that runs a company here called Pimlico Plumber. He's a multi-millionaire because he set up a plumbing business employing other people, and it's got a respectable name. They are a bit pricey, they're a bit expensive, but they mainly operate in the central London area, and they're known as a company that you can trust rather than using a one-man band, if you like. And there's always people there to help you when you need them, rather than the one-man band saying, well, I'm on holiday, I can't help you. So there's always a way around things of making money. But these skilled jobs are definitely there. And, countries like China is investing huge amounts of money, massively, in new technology and green energy, as is Britain. We've started to invest in parts of the country. We're building huge factories and new technology plants. Wind technology is a big thing here. So we've got to look to these will be the jobs of the future. So you must have a look at that and see where you go. Also, millions of cars will need to be replaced. I've got a petrol car. I don't want to say it's a perfectly good car, but gradually it's been taxed out of existence. They're trying to tax me off the road. Everywhere you go now, there's emission charges, even extra parking charges for diesel cars at the moment. And those cars will be definitely phased out over the next 10 years. And many car manufacturers will not even be making diesel and petrol cars. It's sad if you're a petrol head, but that's the way things are going. But it's not just electric cars, it's also hydrogen powered cars. And you look at the price of Tesla shares, they're ridiculously high at the moment. The company is way overvalued. It's worth more than General Motors and Toyota and Ford put together, when they only make a relatively small amount of cars. And all the big manufacturers are coming out with new electric vehicles. At the moment, I don't think it's possible to run them everywhere because there's not the charging technology. That's another job, isn't it? Charging. Where are they going to get all these charging facilities for all of these cars that need to be charged up for an hour or more? But then there's hydrogen cars as well. That could be another big thing that may even overtake electric cars. But these are all jobs for the future. Now, China, as I said, is investing heavily, but I wondered if the US is going to be left behind here, because if you think about it, this is definitely the 21st century will be the century of China. In the last century, I think we had America. It was definitely America's century, especially starting after the First World War, which Germany started and bankrupted Britain. And since then, America came into that war, but they lent money to Britain, and Britain's never really recovered from the First and the Second World War. Their empire has gone down since then, And if you think about Japan invading Singapore, that was really the last part of Britain's empire in Asia. Then other countries have fallen. India went independent. So Britain had that period from the Industrial Revolution where they dominated the world in terms of their economy. But America then took over, and I think America now we could be seeing the end of America. I don't know. America, they're still clever people. They can come up with new technology, but definitely China is building for the future. The Silk Road, all the ports they're buying, the ports they're controlling all over the world. They're effectively colonizing the world with trade and money. They're not invading countries as say Britain might have done, but they are colonizing the world and controlling key resources, key minerals and resources in places like Africa, the Philippines. They've even invaded parts of not invaded, but they've certainly occupied parts of waters and islands in the South China Sea. Part of the Philippine Islands have been taken over by China, so they're ours now. I don't know how they decided that. Also Vietnam, they've taken over some Vietnamese islands, and there's a lot of disputes going on at the moment, but it definitely seems that China is too powerful to mess with at the moment in terms of their military might, but also their financial muscle. America does not want to get into a trade war with China. So it's China's century. I think this is definitely going to be the 21st century, will be the century of China, as America not fades into the distance, but perhaps that we will not be so dependent on America. And we don't know if the dollar will remain as the reserve currency for very much longer. We don't know what will happen with digital currencies and all these things that are coming in. But America is definitely almost bankrupting itself by printing trillions of dollars and I think wasting money. I think the Biden administration will waste a lot of money on these massive incentive packages. And we will have to see what happens in the future, whether they'll come out of this intact, but we don't know. But now, if you exclude that disastrous Chairman Mao era of China, that 20th century was really bad for China. If you look back in history, 18 out of the China were one of the leading economies in the world in 18 out of the 20 previous centuries. So it's not unusual for China to be on top. It was that bad period when they had invasions of Japan and that sort of thing that caused their problem. But I think it won't be any surprise that China can come back again and be the leading economy in the world. Now the UK government recently announced a massive training incentive for people to take advantage of government-funded retraining, and retraining is really key. Education is key, and skilled is also an important word here. That unskilled jobs are just going to be replaced by machines or just be outsourced. So we've got to look at skilled jobs. We know that self-driving cars, AI, robotic technology is here already. It's not something in science fiction. It's here already. Cyborgs, if you like, from the Terminator. They're here now. And so you've got to be able to educate yourself, not just informal education, but vocational, relevant, up-to-date, relevant vocational technology to retrain. You can't just stay in one job for the rest of your life. And I think there will be government-funded training here now. They've announced it, but it won't come out immediately. But there are lots of apprenticeships you can do now to retrain. So you've got to learn new skills, new jobs. Now, an increasing number of young people, of course, are deciding that they don't want to work for somebody else. They want to quit the rat race that they haven't probably even joined yet, and stay at home and run businesses, become Instagram stars. Well, it's not that easy, to run an online business, but it's a good way of starting. And millions of people are running online businesses based on Amazon, online education, entertainment, whatever it is. It's out there. One thing I would say is that don't quit your day job and don't fire your boss until you've got enough money coming in to replace your salary. And secondly, don't go out and set up a physical business like a shop. Shops are empty all over the place in cities here. If you go into the City of London, the West End, these shops that relied on workers coming in to work in the city are just completely dead. And even big chains of coffee places like Pret a Manger, have changed their strategy. They've moved to an out-of-town strategy because they're not getting enough people in through the door to run all these places. They used to have a coffee store in every corner almost, sometimes 2 or 3 in the same street. They've had to change. And many smaller shops and businesses have gone out of business. And the same thing's happening in America, in New York, and San Francisco. As more and more people are being told that they can stay and work from home. Just look at the papers, look at what's going on. More and more companies are saying you can work from home. We've got the technology now. I don't think home working will take over completely, but there'll certainly be less and less people living in the cities. And cities are going to go through a big change. And also shops were already suffering with the online buying revolution with Amazon and other companies. People are just sitting at home ordering stuff online, even their food and weekly shop. So shops are not the thing to go into. And if you're thinking about shops, just go and look at the number of empty shops there are now in your local street, and then just don't do it. If you want to get started in business, start with an online business. Start with a business that you can do from home, part-time, that requires little or no capital to start with. There are hundreds of strategies for online businesses, and I'm sure you can find one. Now, with this in mind, I'll be offering 3 people free coaching on business and money, coaching calls, and to help you get started. I'm not offering you financial advice. I'm offering you general guidance, but a coaching, money or business coaching and you can have a free coaching session with me. If you go to my page, which I'll put up here, Charles Kelly Marketing, it will be on the bottom of the post here, and have a look at that in the next 24 hours. Just message me if you're interested in the free coaching call. So thanks to everyone who's tuned in today. I've got Tracy here from Vietnam. How are you doing? You've said BTC down 50% now. I'm not sure what BTC is, but whatever it is, it's down 50%. Perhaps you could give a bit more explanation there. But thanks for your comments. Obviously, it's nice to hear from you. So there you go. Look out for that free coaching call offer. Just message me through Facebook, and the link is down here. Many of you are watching on Facebook Live now, so just go to my page, Charles Kelly Marketing, and get your free coaching call. And maybe you can change your life to get yourself online, get yourself up and running in a new business. Even if you've got a physical business at the moment, if you've got an offline business, I'm sure that you can convert that to an online business or add that as an additional arm, because the people who are making fortunes at the moment tend to be in the online world, in technology. In fact, there was a billionaire created last year every 17 minutes, many of those in China and India. But we saw the wealth of people like Jeff Bezos go up. He's almost a trillionaire now, and we saw the value of companies like Netflix and Amazon just go up through the roof. It's crazy prices at the moment. But one word of caution: I wouldn't go and rush to buy stocks in those companies. I think they're way overvalued, and the stock market is due for a definitely due for a correction. So be careful there. But what I want to just finally finish with is whatever you're doing, take care, be safe, and just be careful out there. The UK is coming out of lockdown only this week, the second time we've come out, in fact, and that's good news. But shops and restaurants are now open, and you can walk inside. You can sit down inside a restaurant, which is great because normally it's always raining here, but it is good news. And more and more people have been vaccinated here. But the UK is coming out, but I hope that will last. There's still a bit of confusion over where people can go on holiday and what they have to do when they go there. At the moment, if you go on holiday, you have to take tests on the way out, the way in, and it can cost the average family something like £500 to £1,000 on top of the already probably expensive holiday prices that they're having to pay at the moment. So many people are just choosing to stay at home. But I can't wait to get out there traveling again, go back to Asia. I love being out there. I love the buzz and the vibe there. And that's where it seems to be happening. There's always something happening. Every time you go back to Asia, there's more and more building going on. There's more and more new things happening, new airports, new hubs, and great things happening. The pace of growth there is unbelievable compared to the West. So I look forward to getting back out there and seeing you out there. And great to see you. Thanks, Tracy, again for your comments. And I'd love to go back to Vietnam and be there and have a coffee. It'd be great. So good to see you. And have a great day wherever you are. And stay safe. Thanks very much. Bye for now. Bye everyone. Take care.